Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hold on, I gotta clean off this camera. It looks a bit mucky. Do. There we go. Good morning. I'm letting my hair air dry to see what happens. So, this is who you get today. So, welcome. I did not take the time to post a title to this, but this is the live where I did. I said good morning. I did post a title. Anywho, I'm going to be going live with Miss Libby Mcgowan to talk about the direction that she's confused about what direction to take her photography in, and I asked her if it would be okay for us to do a live coaching because I've heard from a few people that this is something that people are struggling with. I don't know if it's because of COVID or because you've had some time to think, or you're just like at that point in your business where you're like, is this where I want to go? Is this what I want to do? And so on. So if you are here, say hello, say good morning, all that good stuff. I gotta wait till, oh, there is Miss Libby now. So if you are watching this later, please feel free to, thank you, Alyssa. Please feel free to write replay so that way it just keeps the engagement up. I am going to bring Libby onto the camera here. Let's see. Hi, Jessica. If Libby can come on here. Libby. Don't worry if you do miss it. It's totally okay to watch it later. Hi, Libby.
Hang
Hello?
on 2 seconds. Technical difficulties.
Always with the computers. I forgot to send you the picture of you with the bangs, but I saw it on my you're like Libby with the new bangs. But I saw it this morning and I almost cried laughing because I never actually looked at it after I took it. It's really good.
Oh my god.
Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Susie. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes to let some people pop on, Miss Libby, and then we'll get going. How are you today?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say. No, I'm good.
I appreciate that you woke up early to do this with me. So, or if that's not early, I guess you're an hour ahead of me. So
No, it's late. But I did like sleep in.
your hair looks like super voluminous. You going somewhere? You got
Oh
photo shoot? What's going on?
no.
It's got the like wavy bits happening.
It's because I
Video
got
isn't working. Oh, somebody else is saying video isn't working for me. Please hold.
Okay. I was gonna do I've got this new stand thing, but it won't. I don't think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna have to hold you.
That's okay. I just like mine's set up currently on a hard drive leaning against my microphone on my computer. So
Oh, that would, yeah.
super like high quality production over here. Here, let me see if I can show you. So there's my hard drive. That's where it sits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Perfect.
here.
Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but I've got the whole intro in the background.
Where is it playing? On your computer?
No, it's gone. Okay, that was weird.
Okay.
No, it's weird. It's like a different.
Is it still
Yep.
going? Weird. Why?
It's like delayed.
Oh, but you can hear me now. Yeah, you can hear me right now. Obviously, that's okay. Yeah.
So is there a delay?
No, not for me. Do you want me to do you want to exit out and then I'll add you back in?
Yeah, let's do that. Because we didn't have this problem yesterday. All right.
No.
Okay.
Hold
Okay,
on.
bye.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Boop. Okay, come back. Oh, hi guys, it's just me again. Hopefully this will work. Technical difficulties are never a fun time. Let's see. We'll see if it works. There
Oh,
we
and
go.
I've
Does
got,
that work?
and yes, and you're on a stand, so I don't have to hold you.
Perfect. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Hold me. All right. So let's get going here, Libby. So if you want to just kind of give me and everyone else a little bit of context of like what you were looking for today out of our call. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to do this if you're okay to share, but
Oh
don't
yeah,
hold
yeah,
anything back.
yeah. No, it's my business has been through a process the last couple of years. Just for anybody that doesn't know, I've shot weddings for 12 years. So I went down the boudoir path. I guess it started about 2 years ago, but when I started that, it also started a body acceptance journey that I had no idea I was getting ready to start. And with that brought me to Teri, and which completely changed my life. And now as a body image bootcamp facilitator, I am currently facilitating my first body image bootcamp. And I love it. I love teaching it. I love being able to be that person after all the work I've done for the last 2 years. And so in the last, well, since COVID, I've been really trying to, I think we all have been like grasping at straws, like how am I going to make income come in? For me, all of my weddings have been either postponed or smushed down to like 20 people. And it's just been interesting. So, I went and fixed the website. I did all this stuff, and it still just didn't feel authentic, and I couldn't figure out why. And so I came up to Teri, I guess it was the other day, 2 days ago or something, and just said, I can't figure out where I fit. Sexualized boudoir, the normal boudoir, is not a fit for me, and I can't figure out how I can photograph women and men and make them feel amazing, but more on a natural essence level.
Gotcha.
Does that make
In
sense?
addition to that, yeah. In addition to that, so let me just clarify. So you obviously want to take your business more in a direction where teaching is a main focus,
Yeah.
like either teaching body image boot camp or using tarot as well. I'm going to bring that up because you didn't, but but more the spiritual side of things as well. That's really something you're passionate about, and helping people heal themselves through tarot and like
Yes.
other mystical magic.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
call it that.
No. Yes.
And then photography as well, correct? So those are the three kind of directions.
Yes. I even wrote down like a tagline this morning: healing your mind, body, and soul through the power of photography and spiritual guidance.
Perfect. Oh my God,
So
you're already going. What are you doing, you nut? You don't even need this call. What are you
doing? But I don't know how to. I don't know. Go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it sounds like you do know what you want to do. Like it's almost like you can see what it looks like when you talk about it, you can see what it looks like, but you don't know how to get there. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So what is holding you back from just starting to kind of bring those things together? Like what kind of is like when I imagine people blocked, I always feel like there's a wall and they're just like,
yeah,
it's so close, but there's like this tiny little wall that I just need to boop to get through.
In the spiritual side of it, I feel like there's like, and I think this is a lot of people who are like me. There's a fear of imposter syndrome for sure. Well, I mean, and we have that on the photography side as well. So it's like double. But what's weird is I don't have as much fear about this as I did about trying to fit myself into the boudoir community.
Okay, well that's fantastic.
Right. But my fear, I think a fear is how I can make this a business, how I can market it and make it, first off, open. I won't I don't want to be so out of a price range that people can't, some of the people that need it the most may not be the $1,500, $3,000 client. So I need to figure out how I can, fit that, but
So
then still survive.
yeah, so the first thing you need to do, or we need to do, is like figure out your actual cost of doing business. Like
Right.
what actually is the least amount of money that you need to make
Right.
per session, right? And for me, I had the same kind of issue, that going back and forth of like, well, I know the people that need me, like, can barely afford to put food on their table, like the people that really need this. And what I had to do, though, because we are givers first, that I was working myself into the ground for literally nothing, right? And that was not helping anybody. I couldn't help anybody then. So I was like, okay, just figure out what is the base amount you need to make, plus whatever, you believe is a valid salary for what you're doing. And then that will be the lowest collection will be
Right.
that.
Right.
Because I'm like, if everybody just books my lowest collection, I will make what I want, but it's still not the upper end. So I didn't feel stress about I didn't feel stressed that I had to upsell in order to make my yearly goals, or I didn't
Right.
feel pressure to push people to a certain price point. I was just like, no, I'm confident in knowing that this is the least that I can do this work for, unfortunately, at this time. And so that is the cost. Now, that being said, I also make myself available energetically and emotional wise, to be able to offer free sessions when I
Mm-hmm.
feel called to do so. But when I did that the year where I didn't really take into account how much I was giving away for free, it ended up being a significant chunk. But more importantly, looking at the reasons why I felt I had to give a session away, it wasn't that they couldn't afford me. It's that I wanted to feel like the hero. Right. So that,
Oh. Uh.
yeah, so that's where I literally, above my desk, not here but at the studio, it says like, is it good for the business or is it good for the ego? Because I realized, like, even me offering free photos or a free session, or even a free entry to body image boot camp or whatever, is like, is that because I secretly want them to like me more?
That's good. Yeah.
Right? So I want you to just maybe go back and look at the times that you have given stuff for free or heavily discounted or whatever.
Most
Was
of the
it
time it's
because,
not appreciated. I mean, honestly,
well, because they didn't ask
there's
for
no
it. That's
value.
the
Right.
thing,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Right.
why, going forward now, for like body image boot camp, for example, I'm going to open up scholarship seats where, like, it is available if somebody wants to apply for it. Like,
Okay.
they have to take the initiative to ask, and I will gladly respond. But until that happens, I don't want to be the hero, because I always do that. And it ends up fucking me over, but it also creates this false, and you'll appreciate this false exchange of energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because now there's this expectation that I did something for them, so now I can be mad when they don't respond in favor to me, and that's not fair because they did not consent to that type of relationship.
Right.
Whereas if they like book the shoot, ideally they've read the information, they are consenting to, I will pay you money and you will do the service.
Right.
So if all of a sudden I take away that part of it, where I'm like, no, let me cover the cost of it at no cost to them, now there's this like unbalance that happens,
Right.
right? And that's not really, they didn't ask for it. And yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I follow a Teri teacher and she'd given away scholarships and people just didn't follow through
Yeah.
because it's
So
like there was nothing invested. So
yeah, exactly. So I think it's really important that we acknowledge, first of all, why we think we have to give stuff away. Like, what are we doing? Are we doing it for ourselves, or are we actually doing it for other people? And then making sure on the other side of it, we do have something that is accessible for people, like a scholarship, or things like that. Does that make sense?
yes, yes, I'm
Yeah.
taking notes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Perfect. Okay.
So that's how I would just ease that fear. First of all, it's like the fear of like, oh, I have to pay a certain amount. Hi, Riley. I have to pay a certain amount or charge a certain amount to be professional. I think that's the
Right.
first thing there as well. And then once you get established in whatever direction you're going, then you can fiddle around with the numbers. But I think, like, for me, it was just easier to say, no, like, let's just bring this back to what is the base minimum that what is the amount I need to be comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as far as paying my bills, like for the studio, but also for my home, plus having a little bit of spending money for myself, and then breaking that down to how much I could work throughout the year. And then spreading that out through all the different things that I want to do, not just photography. So this is where, like, having a friend like Beth who likes spreadsheets might be beneficial.
Right. Well, that's the whole
thing. She
thing.
can hook you up with like a spreadsheet that has all your income streams. But for me, it's like I had all these last year. I didn't really take note, but at the beginning of this year, I was like, because I wanted to transition my business to more into education, I had to take an honest look at where all my money was coming from. And then obviously that led us to realize that the money I was supposed to be getting wasn't coming to me, but that's a whole other thing. But in doing that, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm actually making more money over here than I thought I was. Because what happens when we transition our business, I think we get into this like photography mindset, but we shift to do other things like tarot or teaching, is that because we're spending time doing tarot and teaching, and we are bringing in money through those avenues, but our mind is still like, you're not making as much doing photography as you used to.
Right.
Even though your money, your bank account reflects that you still have money coming in.
Yes.
Right. Like that's the mindset shift that has to happen there.
But the lack is still there. The fear of lack, because it doesn't.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, just remind yourself that it's not that it's gone. It's that it has moved through a different stream. Right. So imagine before, when you were doing weddings, it was like one big river, and now you're separating that river into like 3 different streams. So it's the same amount of water, but it's now just split up in 3 different ways of moving. Right. So just that's where for me, it helped to have a spreadsheet so I can literally see the stream. Like separated out, so the facts would override my emotional and like, I'm not making as much money as I thought I was, So like, I think it's really important to establish some sort of system where you have the facts to outweigh the emotional fear-based thinking. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. April says, I'm reading the book, I'm a badass at making money. Yeah, I actually have that book. I'm about halfway through it. It's one of the ones where I start and then I stop.
It's a lot of manifesting, which I did yesterday in the tub.
Oh, you're breaking up there, Libby.
Oh, I said it's all about manifesting, which I did yesterday in the tub for the new moon.
Ah, there you go. Good. All right. So I want to talk about the fear of your imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep breaking up. You're really choppy right now. Hold on.
Okay.
We might have to bring you back on because you're really choppy right now.
It could be my internet.
Oh, nope, you're back.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Perfect. So talk to me a little bit about imposter syndrome piece. Let's start with it in your tarot business. Where does the imposter bit?
I mean, I've been reading cards since I was 12, off and on, right? So I'm pretty comfortable. I think it's that, I don't want to blame everything on ADD, but it brings back to the perfectionism that I have. And I think that's where I feel like I can't ever be good enough in photography. And now it's flipping over to tarot. Like I can't, I probably easily feel comfortable giving readings to friends, and of course you and whoever else I've done readings for, friends and family and stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of silly when I kind of break it down like that. Like there's no reason why.
But there is a reason why. That's what we want to get to, because like otherwise you wouldn't be feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the uncomfortable bit. So I just want to ask you, I just want to ask a question. So let's focus on tarot for now, because then we can apply the same question to photography. But I think if we focus on one at a time, it might be more beneficial.
Okay.
So in terms of tarot, how will you know when you're good enough to do it?
I don't know, because I think that is ever evolving. It's you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. There's no answer to that. So that's my answer. I mean, I'm good enough right now, you know? I mean, the thing I love about what?
Oh, go ahead.
The thing I love about tarot is it's all the cards, they're not fortune, it's not fortune telling, it's nothing like that. It really is how you interpret it. It's how the person you're giving the reading for interprets it into their life, and they have the choice as to how to make it their own. It's very much a creative process, and I don't know, I feel like there's so many people think it's like a fortune telling, and so I think if I set the right expectation and walk someone through it, it's not going to be the whole like, yes, you have to go down this path. No, you can't go down that path, because it's these are your options, or these are things that could possibly happen, and energy's fluid, so it could have happened in the past, could have happened in the future. It's all like, it is what it is. But like, just when, like the readings that I've done, like for you or Elizabeth or whatever, it was just very like, it was good. It was good. And it was confirmation that I needed to see, like, okay, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
So I just need to do it more.
But here's the thing. It's like, if you think about when you first started weddings,
right,
and you go back and you look at your first wedding you ever shot.
Oh my God, a 2013 wedding was posted yesterday all over, and I was like, oh Jesus. Yeah.
But here's the thing, is like, but the fact that they shared it, I'm assuming their photos.
Yeah.
So the work you did then, even though by your standards is not maybe good enough now, is back then you were probably super excited about it, and clearly that they still love those photos because they're reposting them.
Right.
And this is the same thing with anything. Like, I don't know at what point adults are like, oh, I can't do this until I'm like the best at it. That's not how anything works. Like, anything we do, you have to just start, and then you get, like, you continually learn and get better, you know?
Right.
But I think there's like something that happens in everybody's life. Like, either somebody comes along and proves that you shouldn't have started, or like a situation happens and you take that on and you're like, well, now I'm just never going to do anything until it's perfect. Right. And there is no such thing as perfect. So right now, like, who you are as a tarot card reader, or who you are as a teacher in Body Image Bootcamp, and who you are as a photographer, is the people that need you at that level that you're at are the people that you will get. Then in 5 to 10 years from now, when you're doing maybe something else, 5 other things, I don't know, but you're better or just different than you are right now, then you will have people that are ready at that level for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's what Kate just said was perfect. That's true.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's like one of the things that holds people back. But here's, like, I think similar to you is kind of what I went through until COVID hit, and I was like, fuck it, everything's chaotic anyways, I'm just gonna try this and see what happens. Is that when we call ourselves like Libby Mcgowan Photography, like, you have built this box around yourself that you are a photographer.
Right.
But the thing is, and this is like the Instagram post I did yesterday where I talked about like how important it is for us to understand that it's not what we do. Like, photography was what you did, but now you also get to explore your mission through other avenues and mediums. Tarot, Body Image Bootcamp, speaking, maybe writing, like, I don't know, it will change as you go throughout your life. But the main motivation for these activities is the same.
Yes.
what got you into weddings is the same thing, I assume, or what got you there to technically train you maybe to be able to do this type of
Right.
photography. That's what
Yes.
I say.
Yes. Yes.
Weddings
Absolutely.
technically trained me to be able to work with humans and give direction
Absolutely. Yeah.
for a very vulnerable type of photography. So I think it's important for you to understand that maybe it will involve removing photography off of the back end of your name and just being Libby Mcgowan, whatever your slogan was that you had.
Yeah.
And really just like becoming you, becoming yourself. But that's scary. And I think
yeah.
that's where the fear is.
Yeah.
So what is fear around you becoming yourself?
um, I think there's fear of not giving enough value.
And what does that mean?
It's like I'm battling the logical and then the crazy side of my head right now, because part of me is just like that you just being there, bringing the healing part to it is valuable, because I personally know how valuable it is. And the other side's like, well, I mean, like, what if they walk away and it doesn't do all the stuff that it did for you, kind of thing. So it's
And what does that mean?
I don't want to let them down. I don't want them to be disappointed.
And what would that mean? Is it about you?
No.
Do you control other people?
No.
Then why are you trying to do that?
That's right, because they can only meet me where they're at.
Yeah.
And if they aren't ready, and like that one, I had someone inquire about body image boot camp and was asking me questions, and I was just telling her what it was, and she just like stopped communicating with me. There's people that aren't going to be ready for it, and that's fine. They're not my people. I want people that are ready to start healing, and I absolutely believe that that's why I've been doing this for 2 years, and why I've got 12 years of photography under my belt, and retail, and my spiritual journey, and all that stuff. And it's just all like coming to a head, and I'm like, it's overwhelming if I lay it out, and I feel like I've got too much stuff going on. That's why I've got to pull it together so I can handle it. All right, I don't want to be one of those crazy is not a good term, one of those Facebook spiritual guides. I don't want to be, and that's my fear, is I'm going to come off as being.
Here's the thing. Are you?
No.
Well, then you can't be.
Okay.
So the end. Like if your intention is pure, and you're like, no, this is what I do and why I do it, and it's not about chasing money for you. It never will be.
Right.
I don't think you're very much like me that way. Is that it's very hard to just chase money, and it never comes when you try. Like, that's the thing, is like every time I'm like, yes, this will be the money making like scheme, and then it's like, meh. Because
slow.
It's not from here, and it's not part of your journey. Your journey is not that.
Right.
So I think that's really important for you to say, I am not that person, because you're not. You can't be, because you already know you don't want to be. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like, that is a false fear floating around. And if people think that about you, then what? Let's go there.
I don't really care. I mean, I care, but like in my logical brain, I'm like, I don't really care. Who cares? I mean,
Exactly.
they're not going to interact with me, and that's fine, right? I
Oh,
mean,
Kate,
what?
Kate just pulled a card for you from a chakra deck, and it was limitless. You are a limitless being. Your success is inevitable. But it's true, Libby, is that like what happens is that we focus so much on like, well, what if they think this of me?
Right.
What if they first of all, who the fuck are they? And like, unless it's like me saying it to you, then maybe like you may want to just consider that their opinion doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Right? No, like who you can't control what other people think of you. Like I have people that think that I'm doing okay, so I'll give you a story because this was my ego coming back to kick me in the ass. So there was this girl in my town that was like, oh, Teri only shoots like certain body types, like she would never shoot mine. And I was like, well, I'm gonna show her and I'm gonna give her a free photo shoot. So I did. And then obviously she did, like my mom's like, so why did you, like, I was venting to my mom about this girl. She's like, so why did you give her a free photo shoot? And I was like, because I needed her to know.
You
And
wanted
she's
to
like,
prove
but do
something.
you know? Does she actually know you then if that is what she's saying? Does she know your intention? And I was like, well, no. And she's like, well, was that photo shoot for you then or was that for her? And I was like,
Mm.
oh, Jill and I both just like crawled under the desk because I was doing that to help to like win someone over to my
Right.
side, to try
Right.
to
Right.
win them over, be like, no, you're wrong. Look at how good I am of a person.
Right.
That person doesn't fucking matter because they don't know me or why I do what I do clearly, or they probably wouldn't be saying those things.
Right.
But my ego was there being like, oh, you better watch it. But now people say shit about me all the time. And one of my favorite quotes ever to this day is be so good that when people talk shit about you, nobody believes it.
Yeah.
Like literally live with such good intention and high vibrations. I'll give you the glasses. That is genuine and like so from a place of good that no matter who comes along and tries to throw you under the bus, it doesn't actually fucking matter.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. Are they investing in your business? No. The people
No.
that talk the loudest are the people that don't spend the money. So it doesn't fucking matter what they
That's
want.
true. That's true.
So I think that's kind of the soundtrack you need to start to rewrite in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, well, what if they say this, or what if they believe this about me? Ask yourself, does it matter? Is it true? Right? It doesn't matter, and no, it's not true. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So tell me about the vision. So what does it look like in your dream, like your dream of dreams? What does it look like to you? Just like put it out there. It
I
might
don't know.
change,
Like,
but just right now,
yeah. Because I was thinking about it this morning. I was eating my breakfast, but I think like it's somewhere like for the sessions that I want to do, it's somewhere in between like traditional boudoir and raw. Like it's more of a natural. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. I mean, if they want to be sensual, that's cool. But if they don't, that's what I'm noticing with doing body image boot camp. You've got sexual assault survivors that are not going to want to be sexual. And I totally understand that and respect their boundaries. But I think that they do, especially going through the work, they need to be photographed to be able to see. That was the biggest. I mean, there's probably 10 years at least of photos where I don't have photos of myself. And the last 3 years, I have so many pictures of myself, and that has helped me heal the most in seeing myself, being able to see myself through other people's eyes, like your eyes or whoever's eyes. And I do believe in the power of photography and that they need beautiful portraits of themselves. So it would be kind of like an a la carte thing. I mean, I guess I could have some kind of collection, but I really feel like it's going to be whatever they need.
I think that's
do.
awesome. Oh, I could just imagine your website. Okay,
I
get
love when
this.
you do this.
This is how I think it works. Is that like on your website, because we'll say you have 3 different streams right now. We're focusing on the 3
Right.
streams. Make it 3 images that are actually tarot cards that
Okay.
take them down. Each one will take them down a path. Like if you click this tarot card, it's going to take you to Body Image Boot Camp. If you click this tarot card, it's going to take you to, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's kind of
no.
mystical right from the
And
very beginning.
there are 3 cards that could easily do that. So yeah, so that's like I think it's and it's in the tarot thing that I'm doing, there is a path. Like you go on a path and it's like wherever you fall, this is where you need to start kind of thing. So I really feel like there may be some people that are, you know, a little bit further, or some people that are not, like I was, just like completely oblivious to everything that was going on. And I'm not a therapist, you know, I understand that, but I feel like it's a phototherapy kind of thing is what I just want to heal people. I just want to help people heal, hold their hand, use the experience that I've had. And
So that so this
yeah.
is how you market yourself though, is that you offer a variety of different ways. It's like when you go to I'm trying to think of a place, like to a spa,
Mm-hmm.
right? Depending what you need, you will select your service based on what you need in that moment.
Right.
So that's kind of how I would look to businesses like that have like a menu of things that you could choose based on what level of healing, not I wouldn't even say level of healing you need, but kind of like what are you ready for right now? Because for some, like photo shoots, I think would be the easiest. Like
Right.
everybody needs good photos. This, I would say, that's your beginning phase.
Yes.
The
Yes.
next phase would probably be tarot, right?
Right.
Okay, now we're on this path, and then the final
Yep.
phase might be body image boot camp, because that's like a deep dive into some hard
Right.
shit. So like, so I would have that. Does that make sense? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like what do you like? I would literally say at the top, what do you need right now? Dot like colon, and then
Yeah.
underneath have the 3 cards. It would be so magical. I could just see it in my eyes, in my mind, not my eyes. It doesn't exist yet.
In 2010, like when I first started, well, I started at Apple, and I had not really done a lot of portraits. I had shot some weddings, like still, I mean, I think I started my business in 2007. 2010 was like the year that I did portraits of almost everyone that worked at Apple. Like I would shoot someone, and then it was like someone else would be like, "Oh, I need portraits." And I miss, I would, after a session, someone would be like, you can capture people's essence, you know, and it was just like, I don't know really what that means kind of thing. And it's that soul part of them. And I miss that. I miss, you know, spending 2 hours with somebody walking around downtown and getting them to talk and open up to me, because that's who I am. And just photographing them and them seeing their own, just how badass and cool they are. Like people just don't, they don't, you know, we're all selfie era. So it opens it up. It for so long, I just felt like I was so like trapped in this female world, but it opens it up to like male, whatever, anyone could do this. So I just really want to connect with people. And
I was gonna say connection is a very big word that keeps showing up in my mind right now as you were
yeah,
talking. Like it's really important for you to connect and to help people see connection, like whether it be to themselves, whether that be to you, whether that be to the universe. Like each of these realms that you take people
yeah,
down, it's always about connection, which is fantastic. And definitely words that, like, you could even call it connection photography or like something along those lines, like where you're focusing in for marketing purposes, and I talked to you about this yesterday, and SEO purposes, you still may have to use words like boudoir. You could say like it's similar to boudoir, however, like making
right,
sure you have the keywords on your website, or like an FAQ page that's like, how is this different from boudoir? So that way, like the keywords still show up on your website, but it also explains to people that it's not quite what you think it is. The hard thing about having like kind of speaking to somebody that's futuristic is like you have these ideas that are like out, like they're so far ahead that people aren't there yet. Like when I create a body image boot camp, people are like, oh, an exercise. And I'm like, yeah, for your mind. But like their mind was still very much in the present. So you have to bring yourself to the present. Like people's idea of photography is that if I want photos of myself, that's either portraits or boudoir or glamour. Those are the three kind of phrases.
Right.
So those three words may have to be infused in your wording.
Okay.
But then you can kind of, once you get them in the door, then you can say, this is why I consider, or even on your website, like once you get them through your website, you can then focus on, and here's why, like I would be hesitant to use the word therapeutic, even though you know that's what it is.
Right.
Because therapy is scary.
Right.
It shouldn't be, but it is. And let them at the end of the session say, wow, that was very therapeutic. You know, let them say that in their testimonials or things like that. But I think if you're to put like phototherapy, people are like, oh,
that is a really good call out. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So it's really important, and this is for everyone else listening for marketing, is you have to go to where your people are and then get them through that initial door to let them know that there's more behind the door. Does that make sense? But you have to get them to the door first. And that's one way to do that. It's just making sure you have those words and ideas floating around and then spinning them essentially once you get them there.
And I've already talked to my attendees about photographing them after Body Image Boot Camp. So we will see how that works out.
Perfect. Oh, it just cut up a bit there. What the hell? Is it my computer? Oh, it's my internet. It keeps cutting out. Hold on. You know what I'm going to do? Wait, I'm just going to take my phone off my internet and then that. Hello?
A screenshot. Yes.
Yeah, good. I was like, wait. I'm there. Yes. I was like, because it always like cuts out, and then it's like, so this way it should be just like on the network, which is good. So yeah. So does that kind of help? Like,
yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, and it pulls me back to where, like, when we were in Mexico in 2018, where we were talking about doing retreats and stuff, and that's what ultimately I think would be really cool, is to do like a retreat for a weekend or whatever, and
a mystical retreat.
Yeah.
I just saw it. But I think the biggest thing is, oh, go ahead.
No, it's just, it's, and anyone that's listening, it's very, you get to a point where you can't deny it anymore. When you know that this is your path, like everything you've done, just trying to distract yourself or pull away from it, and then you completely get forced back on it constantly, that's when you know that's what you've got to do. And I know also, anytime I start to follow my path, tarot school, whatever, I am supported by the universe. I don't know how or why, but I'm extremely fortunate in that sense. So,
well, and I think that's a big part of like not following the money, but rather following the heart part of it. It's like, and it's really hard because the rest of the world is like, don't be an idiot. The economy. Won't somebody think of the economy? And you're like, well, like, yes, but also I need to go in this direction because otherwise, Kate just said it here. The universe gives you choices and then they'll get annoyed.
Yeah.
And then you'll be forced to do it, which is like what COVID did for me. I was like, okay, Teri, you've been sitting on the shit for a year and a half. What are you doing? Get your shit together. Things are already
I think chaotic. I heard that same voice.
Yeah, it literally is like, okay, there's no better time for anybody else listening.
Yeah.
Things are chaotic as fuck right now. Like, now's the time to throw caution to the wind, to be honest. Like, because it can't get more chaotic than it is, I think. Like, look at do more, just correct. Like, everything's like just kind of like, "Meh." So you decide what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? I think that's the biggest thing. Like, and yeah, I think that's the hardest part is for people to get through that of like, but what if I'm wrong? Regardless if you do or you don't, you can't be wrong. You just are.
Exactly. And I can't, it's just the inauthentic part of it. Like there was something that just did not feel right. And I'm sure for everybody else on the outside of me, we're just like, Libby, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You've got like 15 things going on. Why can't you just stick with something? Why can't you just force this? Why can't you just do it? And it's part of it's that Taurus mentality. My heels were just dug in and I was just like, I just can't, I just don't want to. And it wasn't like, I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of like that voice in my head thinking that I couldn't do it, but I could do it. It's just, it wasn't me. This is me.
And I felt the same thing with photography, to be honest. Like when I first started, but I think you have to go through that where you're trying out different not genres, but different like subgenres inside the genre.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, I always just like imagine it's like trying on clothes, where it's like you have to find out what doesn't fit. So that way when you put on the thing that fits, you're
Yes.
like, yes, this is the outfit. This is a 10 out of 10. Whereas the other ones are maybe a 5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. You're like, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
But when you get the one thing in that moment, it's like, oh, this is it. Why have I been waiting my whole life? It's because you had to try the things that didn't fit. This is why I had to try newborns when I first started photography.
Yeah.
And it was very quickly like, no. And when I had to, and the same thing with branding sessions, like this is the thing. I'm like, I want to do branding sessions, or they look cool, so I'm going to try them. So I did one, and then like people are very annoying when you do branding sessions. It's not like boudoir or hiring people for art. They are very like critical and very specific. And I was like, I don't like this. Like so much micromanaging.
Well, they feel like their whole identity is stuck on that one image, and it's crazy. Like,
which I get it, but it wasn't for me. But did I listen? No. So then somebody else would come along and be like, please, I just need branding photos, please. And I'd be like, no, I don't really do that. Oh, but please. I'd be like, okay, fine. And then I would do it, and it'd be the same fucking situation again. And then finally, I gave it one last time last year, and it was literally, I'm like, no, I'm done. I will refer everyone out. I cannot feel this way again. And you just feel it when you're like, oh, I should not have said yes to that.
Yeah.
But I think it, like for some of us, we're a bit more stubborn. So we're like, no, I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
And then you don't, and then you're like, God damn it, I hate the way this feels. I'm just gonna stop now.
Well, and then I just like you were talking about the ego gets involved, and you're like, oh, well, they came to me and asked me to do it, so they're one of my past couples, and yeah, they trust me, kind of thing. So,
and then it's about you and not about them anymore.
Right, exactly.
Because if it was truly about them, you'd be like, no, here are some I'll help you find an amazing photographer that can deliver exactly what you need. I am not it.
I needed that.
I think that's the part. Is there anything else I can help you with, Miss Libby?
I don't think so.
I hope this helped a little bit.
Yeah, I need to learn TikTok. Like we were talking about last night.
Guess how you learn it?
I know, right? By
doing it.
Yeah.
You don't learn it by waiting to get good at it. You learn it by doing it.
I just take pictures of Sadie. I'm like, I don't even know what I would shoot, but we'll figure it out.
No, you figure out your niche on TikTok, because this is the thing that they say is that you need to have kind of like niche down thing. So it could be Sadie that you talk about, but like involve like mystical tarot, healing connection shit somehow in every single post that you do. For the most part.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it. Just do it. Just start. Start by showing like a spread, like explaining how a spread of tarot works. Easy.
Okay.
Like, or do a quick little video and here's what people think tarot is, woo, magic, but it's like, here's what it actually is. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can like
yeah,
make it do
exactly.
something. Yeah, like it does. It's there's 60 seconds. You
God,
know, max,
can I
like
just
15
borrow
seconds.
your brain for a day?
So what I do, the way I actually had a very hard time like coming up with content, like creative content with TikTok. And what I realized for me is the funniest for me to do is find sounds that I like that can fit into what I do.
Oh,
Does
I
that
just
make
went
sense?
through and found sounds that I like last night. Just the
Yeah, and
music
so
that I like. I went through and like favorited probably 100. But yeah,
yeah,
so
but they keep them, and then that way, so now, yeah, so I have this big library of favorites, so I haven't used them all out. Like, not when I get one, I'm not like, oh, I need to make this video today. I'm like, I think this will come in handy at some point because I
right.
really like it. So then I save it, and then when I'm like, oh, I need to make content, I'll go through and listen to some of the sounds, and then that will spark like inspiration for me, and that works. Riley says, go on an adventure for new tarot cards and film it. Show people
Oh,
like
that's a good one.
that's a great idea, Riley. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you could even do a daily card or once a week.
Yes,
That's
I
a
was
good idea.
starting. I had started that on Instagram and then stopped. So I need to.
Riley, what is your TikTok? You seem to have a handle on this. Hook us up. Send us your tarot. Send us your TikTok information.
Yeah.
But it really is just doing it. And somebody also mentioned just commenting a lot on other people's stuff, like
Yeah,
constantly.
Elizabeth said that last night. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just making sure you do that. Yeah, but you got this. Just like take that one stream, make it into 3, and then let people decide. The universe decides. Yeah, you can do it. I
Okay.
have faith in you.
I know you do. Thank you. I
Do you,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. Do you have any other questions for me?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure I will, but no, not right now. I'm
But this
good.
is just your get started. We just have to get the we just have to get the uglies out of the way. That's what my mom calls them. When your ego gets in the way, she calls them your uglies. Like past experiences come up, or like the way you would have behaved if somebody had done a similar thing, so you behave that same way now. She
Right.
says, oh, my uglies are showing.
Right. I mean, I even said that out loud the other day when I was talking about it. I was like, this is so irresponsible. This is so irresponsible. Like just all of a sudden changing everything, and
But so when
it's
that happens,
not,
I'm
but
like,
I don't know.
but so when that question comes up, because that's like the logical part, that's like trying to protect you, and it's like, irresponsible by who? By whose
Right.
standards?
Right.
Like literally ask that question, because there actually is no one way to live your life. And I think that is the biggest problem that we have as humans, is that we think there's like a standardized way to live.
Yeah.
And especially for people that are more neurodivergent, it's like, especially creatives, like many of us probably have ADD, ADHD, whatever
Right.
it is. We have to do
Anxiety.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do things differently. Here's the thing, it doesn't fucking matter how you get there as long as the result is the result.
Right.
Like a really good story I heard on a podcast once, I can't remember the guy's name, and I probably told you this, so for you it might be old, for them it might be. So this guy was like, oh, I need to write my manuscript, but he kept procrastinating writing his manuscript. He booked himself a flight to Singapore from the US. He wrote half the manuscript on the way to Singapore, got off, got back on the plane, and wrote the other half on the way back.
Oh
Because
my
he
God.
needed no distraction. He needed to
Yeah.
be in a space where like nobody could interrupt him. There was lack of focus, or where he could focus. And he's like, is it crazy for me to spend $5,000 to write a manuscript? According to some people, yes, but this is how I had to get it done. So does it matter? No. Like, you have to figure out what works for you and how it works for you, and everyone else doesn't fucking matter. Like, and I think the more people start to like realize that and start to like hone in on that, like, it doesn't matter what other people think or the way I go. Like, if I take this path, it doesn't matter. Like, it's easier said than done. I get it. But like, the more people that start to do that, I think the happier this fucking world will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's because people are pushing back against who they actually are. That's what makes them like angry and mad and like insecure. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then
you,
doing a lot of the inner child work and realizing so much of this is carried over from being the oldest of four and shame and all that stuff and feeling like I always had
oh
to take care of
yeah.
everybody else. And so it's very, I wish I could have been the person that built their parachute on the way down, but I have to have like 5 mattresses to lay on, like to fall into. So,
Shoulda,
um,
woulda, coulda, Libby.
yeah.
That's fine. You can have your mattresses, but that's why you have but that's why having three revenue streams instead of just one
Right.
will actually be super beneficial.
Yes, because it sure did catch me with my pants down, this COVID stuff with weddings. So, and just boudoir and stuff. So,
And that's why I hope like people will kind of take this time, like everyone's at a different stage, of course, in this, but like understanding that you can diversify just because you are a photographer. You can do more than that if you focus on why you're doing the photography in the first place. But I know for me, I got held up in the, but if I'm not a photographer anymore and I'm just a
right.
teacher or just an educator, what will people think of me? Like, who cares? And here's a good story about that. So I was watching the Babysitters Club, you know, the movie, the old movie from like the 90s. And
Okay.
one of the guys in there I used to have a crush on when I was a kid. His name was Austin O'Brien, and he was a child actor, like a kid actor. And so I was like, I wonder where he's at these days. Like, has he
Oh
acted in
no.
anything? No, no, no. And the thing is that pretty much after that, he stopped acting, and he's actually a wedding photographer. Like, he literally was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do this instead. And he did it. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, I really love when people are like, oh, and Gary Vee has a video where he talks about this, where the lady's like, yeah, but I've been a realtor for this. And he's like, yeah, but if you're done being a realtor, you can be something else. Like,
Right.
don't stick with something because you have to do it or you should. Like, if you're not feeling it, maybe you were just a realtor for 20 years. If I stuck with Great West Life selling insurance, I wasn't selling, I was helping dental benefits. But if I was like, well, this is my job and this is how
Right.
people know me and my identity is this as a dental benefits associate, y'all wouldn't be hearing this live right now.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And I would be hating my life. Right? So I think it's really important for us to recognize that everything is temporary. You don't have to stay in any one profession, but I think there's this like ego bit that comes with being a photographer because you're finally living the dream. You're doing the thing and everyone's like, and the fear is that if you stop doing it, people will be like, told you you couldn't do it. Like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
told you you couldn't make a living doing that. It's like, no, I could. I just didn't want to fucking do it anymore. Like,
Right.
but it's that them saying that. And does it matter what they say? No.
Yeah.
Right? So it's literally like arguing back against all that bullshit.
Because that's like I don't want to go back to a normal job. I did my time, 25 years in retail, and I don't, yeah, just anything. I don't care what, I mean, I do care what I do, but you absolutely can. I mean, this is my second career for the last 12 years. So then this will be in a way, my third. So you can, yeah.
That's the thing is like, so there's never like do whatever the fuck you want, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but our ego does get in the way and say, oh, but then this they might, and I make this similar to like when you go to comment or like walk away from commenting on a social media post where like
Mm-hmm.
you started an argument and then somebody
Yes.
comes in and you're like, there's no point of fucking finishing this argument because it's just gonna go back and forth.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
walk away, but the part of you that wants to comment again is just like, oh, if I walk away for my sanity and because I know this isn't going anywhere, they might think that they won. And I
Right.
don't want that. But it's like, that's your ego talking. If
Yeah.
it's not fruitful, just fucking walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's not beneficial to your energy, walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like that part of us that needs to be right and like dig our heels into like, no, I told you I could do it, so I'm gonna do it. It's like the toddler in us.
But that's one of the biggest lessons in our soul growth is getting rid of ego. And so ego death is like a huge thing. And um, I can see how I've moved out. I'm not completely out of it, obviously, or I would have no fear and just like do whatever. But it's amazing how you can. I don't know, just the last couple of years, the work that I've done and how things have changed. And
Ooh,
You can see
Michelle
the
wrote.
progress. Yeah.
Michelle wrote direction, connection, and transformation, guided journeys and finding your beauty by Libby. That's beautiful.
I love it.
Michelle.
That's beautiful.
We've got a wordsmith
Thank
amongst
you.
us.
I know. I need that help.
That gave me goosebumps. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I can't see it. I'll see it when we get off.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, I hope you feel a bit better and just
I do. I don't feel so scattered and crazy. I felt just very like all over the place. So
I'm gonna try to urge everyone that we're gonna try to refrain from using the word crazy.
I know, you're right.
Yeah, I had to educate Jill on this yesterday, so that's why it's like top of mind for me. And because we're on a live, sorry, you're the one that gets called out a bit.
No,
but,
it's okay. It's okay.
But I do it too because it's a word that's so easily prevalent for us to throw around that it actually is an ableist phrase.
Yes.
And it's not beneficial and adds to mental health stigma essentially. Mm-hmm. So those of you listening, that's why I started saying, I'm like, it's not crazy. I'm like, it's silly, or like, you silly goose. Like, that's what I'll say now instead, just because it's funny and cute to me. But like, or you can say bizarre, or like, just find different words. Yes. Or think about what you actually mean, right? Again, umbrella terms, like the thing I posted in here. Think about, what does that actually mean? Overwhelmed. Scattered. Yeah, exactly. Because again, if you leave it at that umbrella term, you can't actually fix the problem. But if you know it's scattered, then you could say, oh, if it's scattered, I need to put it down so I can organize the thoughts, like we did at Body Image Bootcamp, you and I did.
Yes.
It's like, let's just organize, and then that way it'll help you get moving.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good call.
Well, this was fun. Did you guys like this? Did you like this, Libby?
I love this.
We're like, but being vulnerable enough to like obviously share your story.
Girl,
and like,
you know,
be put on the spot. And like,
I
that's always hard
overshare
for people when I make them squidgy. My favorite is watching the body language of people when they're like, yeah, this is where I'm at. And then it's like, okay, but why? Well, and then
when I look down and I'm like,
and you can feel the ego like crack open. That's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. So I'm thinking I might do, if people are interested, I would be more than happy to do one of these a week, like on most Tuesdays if possible, if I don't have photo shoots. So if anybody else would like a coaching and you're up for being on, live, then, because it's helpful to everyone else, like everyone else has these same thoughts, right? But it's hard to get them out. So yeah, okay, cool. Well, we'll put a little sign-up-y thing so then people can sign up for that if they want. But you gotta be prepared to get squidgy.
I just love that I'm starting these things, like dicking with Teri.
Connection, Libby. This is what you do. Yeah, Libby was the one that started dicking around with Teri. Libby's the one that's starting live coachings with Teri. Teri Tuesday.
No, this is excellent because it just helps. It's just the back and forth, and especially someone that's in the same air, whatever.
Well, and that was one reason why I wanted to get into coaching for photographers or creatives in general, is because it's such an isolating feeling. Is that it's one thing to go to your therapist, but they are still very much in a standardized profession. Right. So to understand what it's like coming from an entrepreneurial mindset, but also a heart-centric entrepreneurial mindset is a whole thing in itself,
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to do coaching, was for that exact reason.
And we're all so different. The way we approach our clients, how we work with them, everything is so different. So it's not even an easy thing to go up to someone that is close to you and ask them questions, because their approach is completely different. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Libby. It was lovely to see you, of course. I really appreciate this. And I will talk to you later, my friend.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. How do I get out?
Oh, I'd kick you out. Okay, awesome. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Libby, so much for joining me today. I'm glad everyone else also appreciated this. So yeah, I'll try and do these once a week. Ideally on Tuesdays probably makes the most sense, unless I have shoots scheduled or things like that. Most going forward, most shoots are on Thursdays and Saturdays, but I still have some old ones I had to reschedule, so there might be some in there. But other than that, I think this is super beneficial, and this is like I love to do this shit, and it's helpful not just for the person I'm working with, it's also helpful for other people. This is what I love watching. Tea with Gary V. He does this on his YouTube channel, and it is like so good, like so good. So yeah, so basically I will do that here as well, and my hair be popping today. I love it. All right, thank you all so much for joining us, and this is my gift. Yes, talking is my gift. But also strategy. I love strategy. That's my jam. But thank you all so much, and I hope you have an amazing Tuesday, and I'm sure we'll do another live. I'm doing a Universe Decides photo shoot later today at around 2, so with my friend Brian. So you'll see probably some of those photos if you go to my Instagram. Sorry, I'm burping. Instagram stories as well and things like that. So thank you, Libby. Yes, I do like to lead, in case you haven't noticed. But thank you all so much. I love you more than you even know, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.